Biden pressured him to censor Americans. Facebook did censor Americans, and Facebook throttled, aka buried, the Hunter Biden laptop story to rig an election because our deep state FBI and CIA were creating a fake narrative of Russia collusion because they're traitors.
We're not bringing them in to grill them. We are bringing them in with a sincere concern that these platforms are being used by young, radicalized, left-wing criminals.
Google finally admits it. They censored us, and they censored us hard. We were the victims of it. They demonetized our channel for 9 months. We got strikes after January 6th for being harmful and dangerous. They said our COVID analysis was misinformation, and for all of the things we talked about, we were proven right, as many were, who were called conspiracy theorists the last time Google was bending the knee to the Biden administration. But now the House Judiciary GOP is out. They're publishing this. Big win for freedom, baby. Says Google admits that they censored all of us, violated our constitutional rights. Okay, that's what the censorship is. We have a right to speak. They censored us, and the White House was putting pressure on them to do it. You might make the argument YouTube can do whatever you want. YouTube was responding to our government censoring us. That's why they did it. So the government censors should be held accountable and be charged with crimes for violating our constitutional rights. So they posted this. They said, big news. They finally admit censorship under Biden. They promised to end the bans of YouTube and bring back those who were canceled. Today, Jim Jordan, he says, thanks to the oversight of Jim Jordan and the Oversight Committee, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off of YouTube due to political speech violations on topics like COVID and elections, which are what we got hit with, and an opportunity to return to the platform. Google also admitted the following to the House Judiciary Committee. They said the Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. Of course it didn't. They were just unhappy that we were offering a counter narrative that turned out to be right. The Biden administration's censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. So why'd you guys do it? Public debate should never come at the expense of relying authorities because they're liars. The company will never use third-party fact checkers. Thank you. And Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American speeches. You hear that, Europe? Including the removal of lawful content. These admissions came after Jim Jordan sent them a letter and a subpoena investigating their companies. And Jim Jordan said this. Breaking. Due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off a return to the platform. But that's not all. They also admitted more. And YouTube is now going to begin rolling back its censorship policies. They started after Jim Jordan looked into this. Over the past years, they've uncovered massive scandals. Remember, Facebook was doing this. We got the Twitter files. We got the Facebook files. They were all censoring us because guys like Rob Flaherty, who were Biden's communications, social media fascists, were the ones who were trying to put government pressure on private companies to fix the conversation happening in the public arena, violating our constitutional rights, commingling government power to undermine the First Amendment. They belong in jail. During the Biden-Harris years, under White House pressure, YouTube is now admitting this, so they should come and testify. If Google wants to make good on this, they should join in the lawsuits and the criminal prosecutions of the people who abuse their offices and their positions of power to violate our constitutional rights. They can all come testify. Thank you for admitting it, but now help us put the people who did it in jail. Today, YouTube admits that the censorship pressure from the Biden administration was unacceptable and wrong, and they were just going along with it because they thought, well, I think many of them agreed with them, and they thought that if they were in positions of power, they could win the election, and this grift could continue on indefinitely. Now, to make amends to the American people, and because of our work, YouTube is rolling back its censorship policies on political speech, including topics like COVID and elections, and we appreciate that. We should have never been censored in the first place, as we were, and we should never be censored again in the future. And this applies to the other side too. If they want to get out there and scream and shout about their murderous endeavors, it's fine. They can do that. As long as they're not, co-conspiring to commit crimes or something like that, then all that can be monitored and you could charge somebody for conspiracy, as happens regularly. But otherwise, we want to hear from these psychos who are saying that they want more dead fascists or whatever. And big tech companies can allow the conversations to happen because the best response to bad speech is more speech. And that's great. They can make amends to the American people. They should also become cooperating witnesses in prosecutions against Rob Flaherty and the guys who censored all of us. Elvis Chan, FBI, and the rest of them. What does this mean? Now, whether you were an established YouTube presence with a massive following like Dan Bongino, or you were just starting out to express your political views, we were brand new in 2021. We just started the show like March 2020. Biden comes in February or March 2021. We're new. You will have an opportunity to come back on the platform. If if you were censored for engaging in political speech. So we never got 3 strikes. We just got 2 strikes and we survived it. But of course, you have to tiptoe around the rules. Okay. So for 4 years, we're all tap dancing around the rules. Many of our friends, many people you watch got strikes. This was across the board. It wasn't just us. We're just a whole slew of people. And by the way, other people got it worse than us. They had their whole channels nuked indefinitely for just talking about politics in a free America. So this is another victory in the fight against censorship. In August 2024, Mark Zuckerberg also wrote the committee letter. He admitted the same. Biden pressured him to censor Americans. Facebook did censor Americans, and Facebook throttled, aka buried, the Hunter Biden laptop story to rig an election because our deep state FBI and CIA were creating a fake narrative of Russia collusion because they're traitors and cowards who can't win fair elections. Now, even as Meta admitted that Biden-Harris censorship was wrong, others in big tech were reluctant to go on the record. They didn't want to talk about it. Now, Google is acknowledging for the first time that it too faced censorship from Biden, and it is unacceptable and wrong. So now YouTube is going to make changes. They're committed to the American people that it will never use, they said, outside fact checkers to censor speech. No more telling Americans what to believe. I hope that's true. YouTube is also going to be trying out community notes. We'll see if that works. And Meta followed suit. And now YouTube. And YouTube confirms that Europe is targeting American speech and innovation. Europe is trying to create a regulatory burden on all of us. YouTube is warning Europe could force companies to remove lawful social media content within and outside of the EU. Europe wants to censor your online speech even if you aren't in Europe. Google and YouTube credit the judiciary GOP for bringing transparency to this. They're going to continue to hold big tech accountable. These are all massive wins for the American people. We won't stop fighting to protect free speech from Jim Jordan. And we're grateful for this, right? We've talked about a digital bill of rights that might include a lot of free speech protections so that this doesn't happen again. But as it stands, the social media companies seemingly are responding. So here is what they sent in full. September 23rd, today, fresh out of the oven, to Jim Jordan. This statement of facts is now coming back over to you. Here's what we found. Throughout the committee's investigations, Alphabet provided responsive information to you. We got more than 40 sets of records, and we had 20 executives sit for interviews. Now, Alphabet is a collection of businesses, the largest of which is Google. Our job is to organize information and more. The company is committed to doing its part to keep the digital ecosystem open to free expression. And open and free expression helps our business model. Now, the committee came through and they played a critical role. They say, we're here for freedom of expression. And they agreed that transparency is important. Now, we get to the Biden administration. The COVID-19 pandemic, they write, was an unprecedented time in which online platforms had to reach decisions about how to handle it. Senior Biden officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet, and they pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to COVID-19 that did not violate its policies. While the company continued to develop and enforce its policies independently, Biden administration officials continued to press the company, guys like Rob Flaherty sending emails. I thought I told you to remove these things. To remove non-violative user-generated content. People expressing their opinions and coming to much more logical conclusions about what we were seeing in the world than anything the CDC told us or anything the government told us about the election. As online platforms, including Alphabet, grappled with these decisions, Biden and officials created a political atmosphere that sought to influence the actions of online platforms. Remember, they said that you're killing people. Facebook is literally killing people if you don't censor this. It's unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content. And the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds. Well, now you can put your money where your mouth is and make a donation to some free speech organization that fights for these things, or do something. YouTube's mission is to give everyone a voice and show them the world. And I'm very grateful for YouTube. We've been able to connect here in spite of the pressure from the Biden administration. Over 2 billion logged in users, a bunch of things, lots of information on YouTube, new economic opportunities, creative ecosystem, and more. And so now we're making ourselves committed to free speech. We have evolved our COVID-19 frameworks. YouTube never had community guidelines prohibiting the discussion of the origins of COVID. YouTube ended several COVID-19 policies and retired the rest of them December 24. We continue to enable diversity, blah, blah, blah. Now, no matter the political atmosphere, YouTube will continue to enable the free expression on its platform, and they're going to begin offering a new feature beginning June 24, which is last year, also began offering a feature. I haven't seen these community notes. We're collecting feedback. They're rolling it out. They'll see if it works. We also terminated channels for repeatedly violating election integrity content. Remember that crap? Today, their community guidelines headlines, and that was a lot from Susan Wojcicki, remember her? Well, election integrity. You still see all the stupid notes from Wikipedia, reflecting the company's commitment to free expression. We value conservative voices on our platform, says YouTube. The company recognizes these creators are among those shaping today's online consumption. Yeah, nobody's watching Jimmy Kimmel. So regulation, transparency is all very important. The committee's done a bunch to make this possible. And so in providing this information, we hope that we can continue to work together. Signed by Daniel Donovan, the lawyer for Alphabet. That's all great. Hopefully those same people come in and testify about why guys like Rob Flaherty and Elvis Chan at the FBI and the White House were doing all of this. Rep. Andy Biggs commented saying, the radical Biden-Harris regime pressured platforms to silence conservatives, and now the House and the GOP are responding. Michael Schellenberger also was reporting a lot back then. He also got hit hard with this stuff. Finally, he says, Google admits that Biden White House demanded censorship of legal content, that the European censorship law is coming after America, and the U.S. must stand up to these censors. James Comer was out. Remember, he said that they were smearing us all over the place. And now Congress wants to hear from these online platforms about what they're doing about terroristic speech. Let's see what James Comer has to say.
That has emerged that many of the high-profile crimes that have been committed by younger people, these are the platforms of choice for those criminals. These are the platforms where they were communicating with others and trying to spread hate and trying to radicalize people who were following them in these chat rooms and on these messages. So we want to bring the CEOs in and see if there's a way that we can detect this before it becomes a future crime. We want to see what ways that these platforms are marketing themselves to these young people that have become radicalized, that are trying to spread fear and spread hate among people that are following them. So I think it should be a very substantive hearing. We're not bringing them in, Trey, to embarrass them. We're not bringing them in to grill them. We are bringing them in with a sincere concern that these platforms are being used by young radicalized left-wing criminals that are trying to get others to be involved in very serious, unthinkable crimes.
Well, that's interesting. It sort of sounds like they might be asking the social media companies to censor some of these conversations that are happening. Remember, Discord also threw us off immediately, canceled our whole chat. They said we were harmful and dangerous right after January 6th, and we were instigating violence. Obviously, we were not, and we got nuked for that. So is this just going to be going the other way, or where is the line going to be drawn? Because it's obviously illegal to create a conspiracy to go assassinate somebody. Okay, so if Tyler Robinson was in there talking with people, plotting the conspiracy, all acts in furtherance of, those are clearly violations of terms of service. You can't plot murder using the tools of the systems. Now, is Discord handling that appropriately, or are they only targeting, conservatives and the J6ers and the people who were talking about the election and the people who were talking about COVID? Are they implementing those policies unilaterally against one side and not the other? I think those are appropriate questions, and we'll see what Congress does. There better be repercussions. We're going to keep our eye on this. Thank you for subscribing and joining as we do.